Sleepwalking by Mariana Semkina, and I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Mariana is one of two individuals from I Am the Morning, the other one being Gleb Kailolian. Now, Gleb had already put out his own solo project with, it was self-titled, of his own name, back in 2018, and I was really hoping for Mariana to put out her own album, just to kind of see the different personalities from both this project of I Am the Morning. I've really enjoyed I Am the Morning's outfit. I love how subdued and intimate it feels. It's much of a foil to what we've been hearing from the Prog outfits since pretty much the early 2000s, of being bigger, being louder, being heavier, being brah. And I love when somebody comes around with the progressive rock flag and is something completely different. And that was I Am the Morning. Now, I do need to call out the Prog Archives right now, for shame. Like, this is a big shaming of the Prog Archives, because Gleb's album is on there, and even in the I Am the Morning outfit, it has also Gleb's solo work. There is nothing on the Prog Archives for Mariana's work, and that is a shame. That is a major shame. So let's talk about Sleepwalking, the album that we have here. First and foremost, Mariana's voice is just brilliant. There's no other way to put it. It's haunting, it's beautiful, it's soothing, it's like this siren in the night beckoning us to heed the call. And it bleeds through all of the tracks on here. Her highs feel so airy and so light, yet she still has this darker approach to some of the more darker aspects. And I mean, the album opens up with Dark Matter, and it's a very fitting track to really paint the picture of what we're going to get into. It feels like you're stepping into a pre-Raphaelite's painting of this horrific event, like the drowning of Ophelia, for instance, or, you know, one of those medieval knights going away, but they're being beckoned by this beautiful woman. A lot of these have so many of those undertones of being very beautiful, but something very dark and dangerous being underneath. This is very true with Am I Sleeping or Am I Dead? You know, this idea of when we go to sleep, well, are we actually dreaming, or are we in a stasis of dead? And I also love the approach that we have to the music on here. Unlike I Am the Morning, there's a lot more of a fuller sound as well. Like, they're not just leaning on Gleb to provide the melodies and the actual music presentation. We have a lot more string sections. We're using a lot more of the traditional sounds of, you know, there's a lot of bass, there's a lot of drumming, there's a lot of piano work found on this, which I'm not all that surprised about. And a lot of these songs also feel much more accessible. They feel a lot more poppy in approach, like Turn Back Time, Invisible, and How to Be Alone. These three tracks feel very much like they could be played on the airways, on the radio. There's a lot more of this accessibility. It's much more, I would say, almost adult contemporary in that sense, especially How to Be Alone. I love, even though it's one of the shorter tracks on here, I love how tangible this track is. I love how it soaks you in and sucks you in that sense. And I also love how singer-songwriter it feels. Like the track Lost at Sea, one of the longer tracks, that being, well, I think it is the longest track. It doesn't feel like it's the longest track. It's really just Mariana and the guitar. And I mean, once the song progresses, she does start to harmonize with herself, and there's a few other background sounds that come in. But at the end of the day, at the root of the song, it is very much just her on the stage with her guitar. And I love how it was so little, she's able to carry so much. And that's something that is seen throughout this album. But probably my favorite track is Everything Burns. I love how off-center this track feels. Like, all the tracks that are kind of around it, How to Be Alone, and even the Mermaid song, they all feel very inviting. They feel very soothing. But once you get into Everything Burns, there's this like negative keystroke that keeps happening. The sounds don't quite harmonize 100%, and it feels very haunting. It feels very off-center. And I love how maybe it's the songs that are around it that are so soothing that makes this feel so not right, but I love it. I love that there's like this darkness that's underneath it, and this kind of goes right back into that overall feeling of this, something's not quite right, something's lurking in the shadows of this track and this album overall. So overall, I've really been loving this album. I've been spending some of those like late evenings with this album, and it's that perfect evening album as well. It's also a really good rainy day afternoon album. The album isn't perfect by any stretch. There are some moments where I'm like, okay, we've been here for a while. I want something a little bit new, but I do like that they've really added this whole new aspect to the album overall. So yeah, this would be one that I would download. I would have no problem downloading this album, having it on my computer, and really just drifting away, because this is one that I'll probably be listening to throughout the year. That's about it for Sleepwalking by Mariana Semkina. What did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, let me know by commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.